Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's episode of the Hardwood Nation podcast with your boy CL Anthony and my main man Bryce Ward. What's going on, Bryce?
Same old man. Just glad to be here. How are you doing?
I'm still celebrating with Klay Thompson and Jordan Poole coming off this this NBA finals, and Draymond too.
Nice.
I'm still celebrating with the Warriors. It
I'm
it
glad you
was
could celebrate with them after having to take a hiatus after watching your Heatles get beat by the losing finals competitor. But so I'm glad you could end on a high note.
I took it personally.
I know you did. I know you did.
I took it very personally. So Bryce, the Warriors have won their fourth championship in 8 years. As Draymond Green said, they've never lost when they've been whole. How dominant do you think, in the history of the league, how dominant do you think this Warriors team is?
Um, it's it's right up there with the best of all time because not only have they won while they've been healthy, like they've shown, they've been able to do it with their original team. They've been able to come back after injuries with an older, albeit original team and show that they could do it again. So it's very impressive. The story is impressive. The the legend that will be Stephen Curry at the end of his career is already impressive. But the team as a whole, I think now that they're on their fourth championship, it's like they're not going away. You have to think maybe they get one or two more, maybe even. Like who knows if they're healthy, of course. So I think in terms of where they're at right now, though, they're already right there with some of the top dynasties in history.
Got
I
it.
mean, they're right there, maybe right behind the top like two or three, but they're getting to be extremely undeniable. So nothing but good things to say about them. Their dynasty is impressive. The culture they've built is impressive. Um, I think it's amazing. So
They're currently set up for another 2 to 3 year run. They have the perfect blend of young and old. I mean, they're going to have to shell out some money. They're already shelling out money, but that's a three
they've
hundred
shown they'll
million.
do that though.
Yeah, that's a $300 million team each season. But the byproduct of shelling out the money is winning. You know, you don't want to be like Brooklyn and have a $300 million team and get eliminated in the first round. So you would want to win
Mm-hmm.
the championship.
Especially
Um,
getting swept the way they did.
a complete and utter disaster. That's what it was. And
We're not
yes,
here
we're
to bash
petty.
Brooklyn. We're here to
No,
praise
yes,
Warriors.
yes, we're petty, and we take every chance to shit on Brooklyn. And
We weren't right about a lot of things, but we were right about Brooklyn and Golden State.
speaking of Brooklyn, and this ties back to Golden State. Speaking of Brooklyn, your favorite cupcake, Kevin Durant, responded to Stephen A. Smith saying that the Warriors didn't need him to win the championship, and he said, "Well, they needed me to beat CP3 and James Harden and LeBron James, but yeah, they didn't need me to beat the Celtics." How you feel about Kevin Durant's comeback?
He could have come up with better comebacks, or he should have stayed quiet on this one
Yeah.
because in my eyes, he just shouldn't talk about the Golden State times because I mean to get beat. Okay, they didn't need you. You needed them.
Mm.
And you proved that by getting beat by them and then going there. Okay, they've won championships without you. They did not need you to beat fake ass Harden or broken ass CP3, who even with Devin Booker can't get into the finals.
Whew.
So, no, they did not need you. Apparently, Brooklyn needs you, but nobody else. And the only reason they need you is because everybody else they have is unreliable. So He just needs to really be quiet and like regarding Golden State. This is the only time. Like I don't like him chirping up about a lot of things because I think it's always from an odd place. It's not that he speaks up; it's just the way he does it. But he should never talk about Golden State now. He should never talk about Golden State now. The way he went there, they won. They won without him, and then they went back and won again without him. He should never speak on it because there's no light that he comes out looking like he was
Looking
the
good.
reason.
Right,
Yeah, I
right,
get it.
right.
You won Finals MVP and you were great. I'm not taking that away, but if you had done that, someone else would have done that.
Right, right.
So I'm not. No, that's Steph Curry's team, and it's his dynasty and their dynasty, not yours. You were a part of it, and you were obviously a very disposable part of it.
God damn.
All right. So
Well,
yeah, he needs to
cupcakes
be
don't
quiet.
last long. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
cupcake. I want to take a minute. I was going to give a very strong monologue at the end of this, but you talked me out of it. You brought up a great point. But I do want to take a minute to talk about the media's perception and the media's false hope for one Jayson Tatum. And I want to say this first. I spoke to Mama Anthony yesterday, and she said that she didn't understand why the media was pumping him up so much. And she heard him even say he didn't understand it. He's not out here saying these things. It's them. I want to caution, I would like to caution the media on prematurely anointing someone as next in line. I think it's gross. I think it's disgusting. I think it's also counterproductive because people can shrink under that weight. Everyone's not going to be a LeBron James. And we actually saw him shrink a couple of times. Everyone's
A good
not going to
example is
be,
like a Kobe Bryant.
right.
You know,
Everyone's not going to be Kobe. Everyone's not going to be a Dwayne Wade. I think it was grossly unfair with whoever started the agenda, the NBA, the media, whoever started it. It was grossly unfair to Jayson Tatum and then also the Boston Celtics because right now Jayson Tatum is being absolutely destroyed for being a young man who couldn't live up to the moment. There's a lot of young men in this league who can't live up to that moment. Um, how do you feel about some of the hatred? I don't know if you've seen all the comments, but even some of the Celtics fans are really turning on Tatum right now. How do you feel about one, his lack of performance in the NBA Finals, and then two, the fan base kind of ripping him to shreds?
um, everyone seems to be extremely short-sighted and dumb as always. We talk about this a lot, like outside the podcast, but you'll send me clips of stuff. I'll watch it, and I'll be like, I don't even know why they're talking about this yet. Like, a lot of it is just these the certain fans and media members just want something to talk about, and that's cute and all, but um, to me, it's just super short sighted, like I said. So right before they were trying to give Tatum the quote unquote crown, which I don't know why it's something they want to pass on so quickly. I think it's the NBA wanting to cling to and the business around the NBA, like media, clinging to just having something to talk about. And this is why. Right before Tatum and right before Golden State beat Dallas, everyone was trying to crown Luka. Why?
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Why so quickly? Why so
Yeah.
quickly? Okay, here's the problem. They see LeBron James on the downturn. They see Kevin Durant can't win by himself, and they're looking for the next guy. We talked about this the other day. That they need something, okay? But it's so clear that they have an agenda when they go from one guy to another in the same playoffs. Okay, stop
Hmm.
it. Giannis is around. On top of it, Golden State will put a kink in any of that because nobody will give a shit who is next if Stephen Curry and the Warriors keep beating them to win a championship. No
Right.
one gonna
Oh,
no one's gonna care. I mean, in one series, people were like, Luka's the next best thing. And then he lost to Golden State, and then they're like, Tatum's the next best thing.
right.
No, stop it.
Right.
Stop it. You're fucking stupid. You're short sighted. And then if you're the fan base, you need to be ashamed of yourself.
Oh,
Okay,
they're horrible. They're horrible.
look at anybody outside of maybe a couple people who went to their first finals. Now, granted, Tatum has been to the conference finals a lot, which I think you should give him his flowers for getting the Celtics there with as young as they've been, with the
Right.
kind of disarray Kyrie Irving brought into the situation. Okay, there's nothing to take away from Tatum there. So he gets you to the finals, and as the focal point, he doesn't do the greatest for the team. Okay, but you were in a very competitive series for 6 games against an experienced whole Golden State. Okay, there's nothing to be ashamed about or upset about. There's very few guys who, in their first finals, performed great.
Right.
Okay, that doesn't happen. These things come in levels and steps, and Tatum has embraced every step up until this point,
Yeah.
and then he gets you there for the first time, and you want to throw him to the Sharks? Yeah,
Yeah.
fuck you and the Boston fans or the media members who want to talk shit about him. Fuck all of them because it's bullshit. All right, that shouldn't be the story. And kudos for his mom for sticking up for him and not, of course the mother is going to stick up for her son, but he's up there crying on a podium. The
Yeah.
kid clearly cares. The kid is
Yeah.
clearly talented and has brought you all the success you've had in the last 4 to 5 years, despite despite Kyrie Irving being there, despite the emergence of Brown. Tatum has been the leader. You know, I just can't see how. I know Smart's like a locker room leader, but I mean Tatum's the
Yeah.
guy, the
Yeah.
all
He's a
star
guy.
there.
Bro. Yeah.
So I think it's disgusting. As a fan of the Magic, who's like, we're looking for the guy. We're looking to have a team with success. To see another team have success and then shit on their guy after
Mhm.
getting them to the finals. Um, I just think it's disgusting. And the media who want to turn on him, fuck them. I hope he develops a hard shell and shits on everybody next year. Same for Luka, but it's not going to matter. There doesn't need to be a crowning because if Golden State and Steph Curry keeps winning, it does not matter. Everybody's going to forget about anybody else because you can't beat them.
And here, and that's so eloquently said. And here's the thing about it is that he's 24 years old. He's been to 3 conference finals and 1 NBA finals at 24.
Hmm.
That is
Very
insane
impressive.
to that is insane to me that Boston has been so successful since he's been there. Does Boston have issues still behind the scenes? Yes, some of those issues may be worked out in this offseason. I've always said him and Brown needs to figure out how to play together and play off of each other versus taking turns. They have to figure that out. They have to decide what they're going to do as far as getting help on that bench because they're going to have to give up somebody. It might be Marcus Smart. Who knows? I'm hearing reports already that they're saying they need a true point guard. You're going to have to give up somebody. I think you give it one more year with Tatum and Brown, so Marcus Smart may be the odd man out. Yeah, they're not a perfect team, they're a flawed team. But just the way that the fans turned on him when he obviously couldn't deal with the pressure, but a lot of people couldn't deal with that pressure. And when I saw him at the podium, I wanted to go up there and hug him and let him know it's a part of the process. All the great players in the history of the NBA who have gone on to win championships has said this is how you get there. This is the pain that you have to feel so you can appreciate winning so much more. I like to see that because it shows me, like you said, that the kid gives a shit. I don't like to see people laughing and joking and clowning after a loss. That burns me. To this day, it burns me. So if I see a kid who has the weight of the world on his shoulders at a press conference and he can't even lift his head up and look someone in the eye, I understand that pain and I like it because I know there's going to be a rebound. And like you said, he has to come out game busters next season. He does have to work. He has to put in the work. He has to touch a basketball, unlike Anthony Davis. Take a month off, let your
Hmm.
body heal, go in there, put in the work. You desperately need a post game. And I believe Jayson Tatum will be back. Now,
Hmm.
speaking of another player who we saw cry, which caught me completely off guard, I'm like, dude, this is number 4 and you're crying. Stephen Curry. who was fueled by a lot of things in this finals run. A lot of things. I've never seen Steph as emotional as I saw him the other night. You asked me the other day, is Stephen Curry the greatest point guard in the history of the NBA? Do you believe he is? I'm going to give you the floor before I answer it.
Not yet.
Not yet.
And
Okay.
I also think it's a it's an interesting conversation to have, not just for the point guard position, but in terms of all time
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. Because I think point guard, in terms of Stephen Curry, is kind of like an odd conversation because he's not on paper. I don't think just your stereotypical point guard. Like when you see him on the court, it doesn't come off that way. He comes off as more like, to me, a shooting guard.
Yeah.
You know who has the ball in his hands a lot.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, he is a point guard, and the only problem with me ranking him number one point guard of all time is his low ranking all time assists,
Mm-hmm.
which is the point guard's measuring stick in a lot of ways, and not taking anything away from him. I mean, he changed the game of basketball. He changed a lot of things, and his team is clearly the best right now and building a dynasty. So I can't say enough great things about him. The problem is just strictly at the point guard position if we're talking about best of all time. Because right now, I think it's clear. I think it's got to be Magic.
Yeah.
And what he was able to accomplish in the short time and the accolades and the way he played the game and the style at which he played the game, I think is like what you think of when you think of the point guard
Mm-hmm.
and what he needs to bring to the team. So it's so hard for me, but if Steph Curry has the focal point of his team going forward, which there's no reason to see anything changing on that regard, if he wins another one or two championships and it's the Finals MVP again, um, uh, in a different way, he will have put himself, I believe, in that conversation, and maybe it'll be harder to just crown Magic solely. And maybe a lot of people will start giving that credit to him. But either way, I think it's a good, or it's at least an interesting conversation to have. If people are going to be having these, GOAT conversations, I just think it's another one to be had. I mean, what do you think? I mean, I know what you think, but in terms of like what it could be.
I want to address the assisting because you're right about his low number of assists. So I just pulled up the all time list. Strictly NBA. There's an NBA AB. The NBA ABA list should be the official list, but I'm just going to talk about the NBA list right now. Stephen Curry is 56th all time with assists. Drew
Yeah,
Holiday is right behind him, but we do know early in his career, Steph lost a lot of time. And there have been some seasons currently where Steph has lost a
yeah,
lot of time. So I think his injuries do contribute to that. And in comparison, this guy is a shooting guard, but he's going to be a Hall of Famer in a couple of years. Stephen Curry's at 53, 5,300 assists, and I'm rounding up and down. Dwayne Wade's at 57. So those two guys are fairly close. Um,
what's Steph's career average for
but you
assists a game?
but you are right that Stephen is more of a shooting guard than he is a point guard traditionally. Now his career average is 6.5 assists a game. It's not bad. Not bad.
Yeah,
But for your top tier assist guys, you need to be between 8, 10, 8, 9, 10, 11.
yeah,
You need to
yeah.
be up there. But the force of his 3-point shooting, the sheer force of his 3-point shooting can overcome that. Because Steph hasn't even played in 1,000 career games yet, by the way. So, like I say, he just hasn't. He's lost a lot of time, or he would be
Hmm.
slightly higher with that. Um, as I said, as I told you the other day, and I know there's no doubt that this can and will happen. If he gets one more championship, he'll be tied with Magic at 5, with Magic Johnson at 5, as the team leader, as the guy. From
Hmm.
that standpoint, I would have to consider. Steph as a viable option to be number one. Right now, he's number two to me as far as point guards. Right now, he's not in my top 10. With a lot of people are saying he should be in there. That was a conversation this week as well. But if Stephen Curry wins one more championship,
Yeah.
that word you've been using a lot this season, undeniable, I may have to switch Magic Johnson out for Stephen Curry. And I know that's going to piss some people off, but quite frankly, I don't give a fuck. It's my opinion. Um, I would consider that. It would almost be a sure thing for me to replace Magic Johnson with Stephen Curry. Absolutely, if he can get that fifth championship. Um, but it's crazy that the biggest mistake I've made in basketball was when he was coming out of Davidson, and I was like, this kid will never be anything in the NBA. He's too small. Like all he does is shoot. And I'm gonna give somebody a shout out because he thought I was crazy. One of my employees at the time, Vincent Myers, thought I was absolutely insane. That was one of my first early hot takes for Hardwood. I thought Stephen Curry would not last in this league. I am humbly and very gladly to accept the fact that I was wrong. So I know the love that you know I have for my boy Drew Holiday. When I said Drew Holiday would not bring a championship to Milwaukee, I have to eat that for the rest of my life. But this was bigger. This is a
Hmm.
bigger
Hmm.
bowl of shit that I have to eat. Because boy, did Steph prove me wrong.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. But kudos to him. And like I said, just seeing his emotion after the game, hearing him say, they didn't know if they would be back in this moment after they had 2 years of injuries and a lot of
Mhm.
losses. But those 2 years set them up for the future, man, because they was able to get some young talent in there. And man, this team is going to be, like I said, they might go on another 2 to 3 year run. And you said, hey, if they win it this year, they're definitely going to win another one.
If healthy, the league's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
This was the year to beat them. Before they were whole and had a whole season of being whole. This was the year to kind of, take advantage of Klay Thompson still being uncomfortable, but he got back
Hmm.
and he just fit right back in like he always has. And they got one this year. The league's in trouble.
Here's another funny stat while I'm looking at that list as far as Stephen Curry. Kevin Garnett right now has more assists than Stephen Curry. And that's not knocking Stephen Curry. We know Garnett played for 20 years, but he
Yeah.
has a long way to go to kind of get up
Hmm.
that list. But he won't be ranked by that because Michael Jordan's 47. So it's
Hmm.
hard to get in that list. And as we talked about yesterday, um, LeBron James being number seven is absolutely ridiculous in a good way, but it's just absolutely ridiculous.
Well, you've already said he's going to go down as the greatest
Hmm.
statistical player of all
Yes,
time, despite other conversations. So that,
absolutely,
it's impressive.
absolutely. All right, Bryce, we have a special guest that's going to jump on with us. We have your homie and my brother, Cortez Paul of the Balls in Our Court podcast. He's going to talk about Chet and Jabari and who he thinks the Orlando Magic should draft. So after he speaks, then I want to hear what your opinion is on the subject matter because I'm very. This is going to be you guys' time because I'm just a spectator on this. I don't even pay attention to college ball. Miami don't have high draft picks anyway, so I just don't pay attention. But for you guys, this is huge on which way you guys want to go. So we're going to let Cortez take the stage, and then we'll have your analysis after that, brother. All right, Cortez, go ahead and take it away.
Hello to the Hardwood Nation. This is Cortez Paul, the Balls Not Court podcast. I was summoned by CL to discuss the upcoming NBA draft, where the Orlando Magic has the number one draft pick. They This is the fourth time in franchise history that they got no one draft pick, and it seemed to bode well for the Orlando Magic, resulting in two NBA Finals trips. As you know, Shaquille O'Neal, Chris Webber, who was later traded for Penny Hardaway, and Dwight Howard, are the Orlando Magic's #1 draft picks and their short history of the NBA. So, as you can tell, I'm very excited. I'm sure Bryce, the fellow Magic fan that is on your show, is very excited. And CL is there to just talk trash as usual. So, nonetheless, it's all good. But let me go ahead and get into these prospects and discuss what I like about these prospects that potentially who we can draft. It narrows down to 2 prospects who Orlando Magic are very much considering. I know there's been a 3-man race initially, but I'm going to describe the 2 that I think that is probably going to be in Magic blue. The first one is Jabari Smith, a talented forward from Auburn. Really is a sniper from the 3-point range. He's a deep threat. He is a versatile defender from 1 to 5 positions. Can switch with the best of them. He is really an intriguing prospect that if he can improve his ball handling, the sky's the limit for the kid, and he's got a lot of talent that can be untapped and get into if he can be able to grow himself as well. So I'm looking forward to see if Jabari Smith is considered to be drafted by the Magic, but there is some upside there to be intrigued by this individual, and definitely he can fit into Orlando front court, which is already featured by Franz Wagner and Wendell Carter Jr. On the other hand, there is Gonzaga's forward center and Chet Holmgren. He is the uber talented big man that played with Gonzaga. He is a great defender, versatile defender. In my opinion, he's probably the most skilled player in the draft and can really provide a pick and pop threat and can really handle the ball. He didn't really display it that much at Gonzaga, as they have a lot of talented guard play there, and of course they ran the offense to Drew Timme. So a lot of Chet Holmgren plays was just pretty much just scraps and pick and pops and make himself available and be a weak side defender. But on the other hand, he does change a lot of the ways that he plays the game defensively. So both of these 2 guys are very, very intriguing for the Orlando Magic. Both front court players can definitely help the Orlando Magic in different ways. I posed the question I was asked by CL and the Hardwood Nation, who would I choose as a #1 draft pick? My opinion, I break it down like this. I would try to go for the most skilled player that is in the draft, has the most potential to grow into a dynamic player. We know this draft doesn't have a consensus #1 draft pick. There's not a talent that blows everybody else out the water, but it is someone in this draft that can help you. So I'm going to choose Chet Holmgren, who I would draft for #1 draft pick, and the reason why is that we can use him in pick and pop situations. We can put him in with Wendell Carter Jr. I know the frame has been mentioned as a potential issue for a lot of fans that do watch Chet Holmgren. It's a bit of concern about his frame. But I do believe that initially when he does come and at least get stronger and work on his strength and conditioning, that we have Wendell Carter Jr. that can bang up with the bigs. I mean, nobody is going to be able to stop Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic. Let's just be honest. It's a very hard task to do. And so asking Chet to guard him is unfair to him right now. But while he built up his strength and he present that pick and pop option, he moves the ball very well. He can defend the offense as an Orlando team that is needing players for continuity and fit in and move the ball around. I just don't think we need to put the ball in somebody's initial young hands. I think this is a ladder that we ran into in the rebuild. We had a lot of talent that we started putting the balls in a lot of these young players' hands. Chet is someone that can keep the ball moving. We can do this a la Dwight Howard in 2004, where we had Tony Battie as a big man beside him, while he just rebound, score, get putbacks, present an option for pick and roll, pick and pops, and play defense until he started learning more of the games and develop his skills furthermore on the NBA level. So I am going with Chet Holmgren as #1 draft pick. That's who I'm rooting for, who we're pulling for. But at the end of the day, I know mentioned it's been a 3-man race. It's Jabari and Chet and Paolo. I'm happy with any 3 of them, and we'll root for them as they wear a Magic uniform. Thank you, CL. Thank you, Bryce. Thank you, the Hardwood Nation. And let's enjoy this Thursday, me and Bryce as Magic fans, as we sit here and see the next step to our future. Thanks a lot, guys. Cortez, Paul and Balls Not Court podcast.
Thank you so much, Cortez, for helping us out. Bryce, who you got? Chet or Jabari?
Um, I'm gonna go with my initial gut reaction with Chet.
Okay.
Um, I'm not gonna be super disappointed no matter what, because the differences in why I want them or want Chet over Jabari, it's like it's small.
Mhm.
They're both pretty talented in my eyes. I just think Chet edges him out in a few areas. So, and I think the upside with Chet is a little bit higher as well. Um, so I agree with Cortez. I've been wavering in the last week, like paying more attention to it now, and watching a little more tape of the two. The only concerns with Chet for me are if some of the, I guess, more behind the scenes rumors and things that have come out are true, or it was stated, I think, before he actually had his training days with the Magic, it was stated that I think he was not wanting to release his medical info to them
Right.
or something.
Right.
And that's concerning for a number of reasons. You could say he's trying to make sure they don't draft him, or he could have some lingering health or some kind of health problem. Either way, it just didn't seem all that great. And I'm not sure if that was just more purely rumor or if it came out after he had his couple of days of the Magic, if they squashed some of those problems.
Mhm.
The Magic, I don't think, are really letting out a lot of info right now. There's rumors that they're leaning one way or another based on small details. So a lot of people think they are leaning towards Jabari, I think, and I know he has said good things, about his time there. The Magic has said good things about the workout, things that, details, little details. Nothing set in stone in terms of where they're leaning. It seems we don't know how the workouts with OKC and their management is going. I'm hoping that it's not a bust. That's all I really hope. Um, I hope whoever they get can come in and at least be valuable in the time they're given. Because next year, I think, look, Wendell Carter Jr., after his little injury scare, came back and was, like he had a different motor. He's a 6'10" forward who plays in the paint. Um, the Jabari kid can shoot, and that's his go-to right now. He can shoot the mid-range. He can shoot the three. That's mainly his strongest asset right now. He's more of a shooter, okay? But we already have Franz, we have Wendell Carter, we have Mobamba. We have a lot of big men down there. So the same with Chet. It's like we already have the big men. So now we're just looking at small details because you want to go with one of those two guys, it seems like. So it's like Chet's a slightly worse shooter right now, but then Chet's other assets are better than Jabari's right now and have more, I think, upside to them. Um, he has height. He has a quick, like Cortez said, pick and pop game. But even still, the shooting is better with Jabari, so you like to see that. But it's not that big of a difference. Like Chet can still hit a three. It's easy to think that he could get better shooting as well with that size and that release. I don't see a lot of downside at the
Mhm.
moment. Like I don't see too much upside in Jabari's part compared to Chet. Whereas Chet, I feel like already has better handles, better inside game, better at creating his own. Is it like not just creating his own shot, but being able to be creative with the ball. Also, Chet has more of a defensive presence. So I don't think there's necessarily a wrong pick. I just think Chet offers slightly more upside. But A lot of it could be attitude. A lot of it could be where do these guys want to be? Because if Chet doesn't want to be in Orlando and Jabari does, then you get Jabari.
Right, right.
Unless you just feel like you can convince him or use him in a different way. I'm gonna have confidence in whoever we pick this year. I'm not gonna get down because in my eyes we have the talent to do what we want to do anyways. Fully healthy with the emergence of some of the young guards, Fultz being healthy, Wendell Carter Jr. playing as good as he's been playing. If everybody's on the same page, healthy, I don't know how much they're going to put on the rookie this year to actually have an impact on us on winning games because I want to win games. I'm tired of this, development projects. Not that we aren't going to need him for the long run, whoever we pick. But in my eyes, this year they're not going to have as big of an impact as they will in the future. So I'm less concerned because I'm ready to win with what we have now. So whatever we get in the draft is a bonus. And I just want them to be there and to buy into what we're wanting to do because that's the most important thing. I think we have a lot of talent on the team. I think we have the right mentality for these talented guys. I don't want a bust, and I don't want a guy who's going to come in and create problems. So whoever they pick, I'm going to trust their judgment and wait and see what happens. But I would pick Chet based on what we know. I don't know behind the scenes, but based on what I know, I think he's the best and most talented pick.
Well, this is where I disagree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I love you, but I disagree with you.
I know.
If I'm the Magic, I go with the NBA ready player right now. I agree with you that it's time to win, which is exactly why I would go with Jabari Smith. Chet scares me. Anyone with a slight frame that's 7 foot scares me. The kid's not even 200 pounds yet. Now, can he go eat 2 cheeseburgers and get 200 pounds? Yes. But as of right now, he's not 200 pounds. If you want to win now, you don't need a project. His body isn't ready for the banging of the NBA. Could I be wrong? And could he be another Steph Curry? The takes could be similar. But I would go with Jabari Smith, who's 6'10", so a little shorter than Chet, but he has damn near 30 pounds on Chet right now. He's listed
Mm-hmm.
at 220 right now. That's who I would go with. Is he going to be a superstar right now? No. Neither one of them is going to be a superstar right now at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
But Jabari is more readily made for the NBA in this moment right now. And I believe that you guys only need that to contend for the play-in. This year is going to be make or break for the Orlando Magic. This is why I said this. Usually coaches have 3 to 4 years. This is going to be year 2 of the 1500 rebuild. That's just what it is, okay? You can't have another development year. You did that last year. You got the first pick. That's why we are where we are right now. So this year you have to move forward. Last year was the year, if you guys would have had the first pick last year, that was the year to bring in Chet, develop Chet, yada, 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 steel tank, whatever. This year, it has to be a march towards winning. And I believe Jabari can help you guys do that. I think your bigs as currently constructed are solidified. You don't need to bring in, and I'm talking about a 4 or 5. I think Jabari could play 3 because he can shoot. Chet's too big, too slight to play a 3. It's just not going to happen. So you get more flexibility with Jabari. You don't disrupt the bigs that you already have. And then you have another scoring threat for Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs, and Fultz to feed the ball to. So that's why I would go with Jabari Smith right now. Either way, the Magic can't go wrong. But if winning is paramount right now, you go with Jabari Smith. If you want to have another year of development and being trash, then you go with Chet. Um, so that's what I have to work out in my head because I
Mm-hmm.
know you're hungry to win. I know a lot of the Magic fan base are hungry to win. But then you guys say, well, we want Chet. You're not going to win now with Chet. Chet is going to be a 2 to 3 year project. So, do you sacrifice wins for another 2 to 3 years? Because at that point, the coach is going to be gone. It's going to be a new coach, and then things are going to be starting over again. Or do you draft Jabari and try to at least make a shot to the play-in? I think that's the route to go. So, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I just don't like your opinion. That's what-
See, well, I feel the same way though about the Jabari pick. He's a project because he's not taking Carter's spot. He's not
right.
taking Franz Wagner's spot. So he's going to be in limited minutes to begin with. So him being out there with that young core of guards getting free looks on the 3-point line, which is the only thing he shines on, is getting shots, whether they're mid range or a 3-pointer. That's his only thing. So I just don't know where he shines more than when Chet can shine when it's coming in off the bench minutes to me and bringing something else to the table anyways. Like and Chet can still make the same type of shots that Jabari can make. I know he plays the center position, but for the bench and where he's going to be coming, the minutes and the team he's going to be playing with, I don't think he's going to be, I guess, taking the time away from the guys who have already earned the spot to be there. Because neither one of these guys are going to be out there, in my eyes, their first year over who the players who've already been there. So I think both of those like points are kind of moot in terms of why you would pick him over Chet. But I mean, we'll just have to wait and see.
You could
Because I feel
throw
like he's a project as well, aside from just he's slightly more efficient than
look.
Chet at a shooting.
You could throw Jabari out there right now and still have Wagner in the game. You can alternate between those two guys at the 3 and the 4. The odd man out in the starting lineup would be Fultz. And we still don't. They played with the 3 guard lineup just a little bit last season when Fultz came back, but we don't know if that's going to be a thing going forward. So you can still have Jabari in the starting lineup because I'm going to tell you, he reminds me, the little bit I've seen, he reminds me of Jayson Tatum, and he's 2 inches taller and a little heavier than what Jayson Tatum is. Put him in at the 3. You still have Wagner at the 4. Wendell Carter doesn't need he doesn't need the ball to score. He'll do all the dirty
Yeah.
work, all the cleanup, and get it. So you don't have to feed Wendell Carter Jr. the ball. He's going to be just fine. Wagner, you feed the ball. Jabari, you feed the ball. Your guards may take a step back as far as their point production, but their assists would go up. You just can't put Chet in there right now. You can put
See,
Jabari in there.
I think Suggs is the odd man out
Mm-hmm.
because they clearly, I think, want to have Fultz out there a lot. And if you got Fultz out there, I feel like you got to combine him with a better shooter. And I think Cole Anthony is a better shooter than Suggs. And then depending on who you're playing, you don't want to have Cole and Suggs out there because then you're too small. So you got to go with Wagner and Carter, and maybe depending on who you're playing, Mobamba could be the odd man out if the lineups are too small. So I think we're going to see Suggs a lot with the second unit.
Mm-hmm.
And just in terms of experience, Cole Anthony has been in the league a year longer, and he, I think, is a better shooter.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Suggs will be the odd man out of the starting lineup and shine more with the second unit. But, who knows what the rotations are going to be like when
Right.
everybody's healthy and they're actually trying to win. We don't know. But, I feel like with the year Wagner had, with the year Carter Jr. had, and the fact that we clearly are keeping Fultz for right now, I think those 3 are the safest in terms of who's going to be getting a lot of minutes.
But
There's a
Mobamba
few
had a
other
good year
guys.
too.
Oh yeah, no, he did.
Yeah.
I don't know if they want him long term, and I don't know if he wants to be there long term. I like Mobamba. I got nothing bad to say about him. I just don't know what the behind the scenes are like in terms of what they all want.
The Magic have the Magic have hit it, and this is the bad thing about it. It's a good thing, but it's a bad thing.
It's a
They
good
don't.
problem to have.
Yes, they don't have the wins to back it up, but they've hit the sweet spot of having almost too much talent. Like they're there right now. They've hit this sweet spot to where you have to get rid of some guys. So Wendell Carter Jr., who just got paid, or Mo Bamba, right? We
Hmm.
pretty much both agree that Jonathan Isaac is done with basketball. Let's just keep it extremely real. The kid doesn't care about basketball. He's done with basketball. The Magic have to figure out how to get him off the team. Okay. Then you still have the situation with Fultz. Are you going to move forward with Fultz? And if so, where? Are you going to move Cole Anthony? I don't think they move Suggs right now. So are you going to move Cole
Hmm.
Anthony? So it's a good problem to have. And then Cortez's favorite guy, Okiki. Okay, Okiki can come in and do just a little bit of damage, but Okiki is a poor man's Jabari Smith. Let's just be real about it. So, and I have to look it up because I don't think they played together, but they're both from Auburn. So watch that. Just watch
I
that now.
think I think he was the guy working with Carmelo the other day.
Okiki was, yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So, but him and Smith, like I said, are Auburn guys, so they may be familiar with each other. So the Magic are at that sweet spot where, okay, we have talent. Now we have to turn the corner and try to go after more wins. Because I'm going to tell you something. Everything you said was 100% accurate with the rumors with Chet and the Magic and OKC. I think OKC is actually leaking out some stuff too because I think they're the ones who want Chet, but they're out of luck because they have the number 2 pick. OKC is sneaky like that. They are really sneaky. They have a really savvy front office, and I think they may try to scare the Magic so they could come in and scoop Chet up. So, because the only person who has supreme power in this is the Orlando Magic. They have all the power
Hmm.
with this move. But like I said, somebody's leaking this info out about Chet, and I believe it's OKC because they want Chet bad. They want him bad. So we're gonna leave it there. Thank you guys for following us on the 75th anniversary season of the NBA. It was a fantastic NBA season, and once again, congratulations to the Golden State Warriors for winning
Hmm.
the 75th NBA championship. If you're a fan of basketball, if you love hot takes, like our YouTube channel, subscribe to it, share our content, interact with us, comment. I always respond back. I don't care if you say we're pieces of shit. I'm going to say thank you. Follow us on
But
Twitter at. Oh, go
you
ahead,
probably have
Rex.
something. You probably have something more interesting to say than thank you. But you will respond. I know that.
Follow us on Twitter at the Hardwood Nation. Follow our brothers at the Balls in Our Court podcast. And then also Michael Franz, the, the best guest
Mm.
host of all time. So thank you
He's great.
guys, and we will see you next week, perhaps.
Mm. See ya.